Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Folks, if you want to improve, if you want to heal, if you want to move on with your life, the first step to recovery is getting over the denial. If you're delusional with yourself, if you're lying to yourself, then how can you help yourself? How can you move forward? If you're refusing to even accept the basic reality of your situation, well, it seems as though in relation to Brandon and his failing political brand, of course his failing political presidency, I think that's the exact stage that we're in right now. Denial, delusion. And the thing with Joe is I don't think he's ever going to get over it. I don't think he's ever going to get over that delusion hump. I mean, after all this catastrophic failure, how could you not already resign, being an 80-year-old buffoon shuffling all over the place, looking confused, having White House aides panicking that he might trip over a wire? That's a literal story, by the way. But as I just stated, in terms of this whole denial thing, Joe Biden is so deep in his delusions, I don't think he's ever going to make it over the denial phase. And you can tell by how he snaps, how he gets angry when asked any question in relation to his multiple failures. Joe Biden, of course, snapping at a reporter asking a very simple question, and of course continuing to delude himself that he's still the most popular president in American history. Let me show you guys this very awkward interaction. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so we've covered all the stories. Clearly, Democrats are starting to turn on Joe Biden. It's corporate Democrats, it's the media, especially young voters. Joe Biden, at this point in office, at this point in his first term, is one of the least popular presidents in modern American history, if not the least, depending on your time frame. And when questioned about the most recent polls, well, Joe Biden got a little bit heated and snapped at the reporter.
Mr. President, what's your message to Democrats who don't want you to run again?
They want me to run.
Two-thirds say they
Read
don't.
the polls. Read the polls, Jack. You guys are all the same. That poll showed that 92% of Democrats, if I ran, would vote for me.
A majority of Democrats say they don't want you to run again in 2024.
92% said if I did, they'd vote for me.
Read the polls, Jack. It's funny how this guy actually embodies the memes of him. Listen here, Jack. People will oftenly jokingly make fun of Joe as an old man. And of course, then Sleepy Joe really brings the memes to life now, doesn't he? But Joe Biden very unhappy with the line of questioning. How dare you question my popularity? As 64% of Democrats claim that they want somebody instead of Joe ahead of 2024, well, Joe Biden does what Joe Biden always does and finds the one piece of data, ignoring all else, that he believes he can use to further his point. 92% of Democrats say that if he ran, they would vote for him. What an absolutely stellar endorsement. I don't think Joe Biden is making the point that he thinks he is. Essentially what he's telling Democrat voters is, well, you're stuck with me, Jack, because I ain't going anywhere. 92% of people surveyed claim that they would vote for Joe Biden if they had no other choice. But of course, 64% of Democrats surveyed claim they want somebody else. What Joe Biden is saying is that he doesn't care about the electoral will of his own party, his own constituents. He only cares about the continuation of his own political career, his own legacy, regardless of how much of a train wreck it is. I mean, what a selfish, terrible person if you really think about it.
Get ready, pal.
I don't care if you want somebody else. I'm what you got. Not to mention how bad that is for the party itself. All we keep seeing are stories like this. Lifelong Democrat says he may vote GOP if Biden runs again.
In the past, you felt like you could never vote for a Republican, but I understand you told one of our producers, if Joe Biden runs again, you'd vote for a Republican this time. You'd vote for Donald Trump next time.
Yes, correct. Yeah, my whole life growing up, been a Democrat, voted, leaning towards the left, obviously. And I just kind of feel like it's just kind of this stigma in the black community where it's you have to vote for a Democrat, you can't vote for a Republican, and I feel like that's kind of toxic, and I could definitely see myself voting for a Republican.
Joe Biden is a total liability on his own party. He's the least popular Democrat in multiple decades. He's putting the Democrat Party in a very precarious situation, essentially sabotaging his own party. His voters want something new and exciting. He's going to be 82 years old by the end of his first term, and he's telling them very simply that he doesn't care. And if you even ask him the question, he's going to snap and get angry, like he always does. Don't forget, Joe Biden has a history of this stuff. He really doesn't like it when you ask him real questions.
Ask the right questions. Go back and read what I said. That is an interesting reading of English. I assume you got into journalism because you like to write.
What do you do all the time? So when did I
I say I was confident? I
said in the next 6 months you'll be able to determine.
what I said was, let's get it straight.
I think I probably have a much higher IQ than you do, I suspect.
Well, that's not true. You're saying things you do not know what you're talking about. No one said that. Who said that? Who said that? You don't understand that. You're in the wrong business.
Can I ask you a quick question on Israel before you drive
No,
away?
you
since it's
can't.
so important?
Not unless you get in front of the car as I step on it.
Vice
She's going to
President, is
ask
that okay?
an obnoxious question.
You know, people constantly went after Donald Trump saying he was a narcissist and an egoist, and Joe Biden was supposedly such a man of incredible character, but I'm really not seeing it. In fact, I'm seeing more narcissism and self-interest in Joe Biden than I did in Donald Trump. To continue to insist that he be the leader of his party and that he be the leader of the nation, when he is clearly not fit for office. And what's going on right now is clearly not sustainable for the Democrat Party. I mean, just look at his most recent trip to Israel.
What am I doing now?
The guy looks unwell, he is lost, he is confused, and the one thing that I keep noticing lately after the story of his aides being panicked or paranoid about loose wires on the floor because Joe Biden shuffles his feet, I mean, just look at him. He can't even walk anymore. I wouldn't trust Joe Biden to run a car wash properly, let the United States of America. But this guy is the top executive in the most powerful position in the world. And when you question him, listen, Joe, it's looking real bad. You're the most unpopular president ever. Even Democrats don't want you to run again. He snaps and says,
Get ready, pal. What must be what?
listen, Jack, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, okay? He is going to run. All the Democrat and mainstream media efforts to get Joe Biden to take a seat, sit on the sidelines, and let new talent come up, well, it all seems to be falling short. Joe Biden seems extremely intent on running again. I mean, it really doesn't surprise me. The guy ran for president how many times? Kept getting 1%, never gave up. I mean, he did finally do it, kind of, but it seems to me like Joe Biden only cares about one thing, only cares about one person, and that's Joe Biden. I don't think he cares about Democrat voters, the Democrat Party. I don't think he cares about America. I think he only cares about cementing himself in the history books, even if that means cementing himself as the biggest clown to ever enter the Oval Office. I hate to break it to you, Democrats. I'm pretty sure you're stuck with this guy, and 92% of you who claim that you would vote for Joe Biden if he ended up being the nominee because you have absolutely no other choice, well, I think that might actually be the case. I think you might not have another choice. But the thing is, those are Democrats, folks. Those are the vote blue no matter who crowd. Not even necessarily an important voter bloc. The most important voter bloc are independents. And well, let's just say I don't think 92% of independents think the same way. I think a good portion of independents haven't yet been diagnosed with MSNBC CNN brain, thank the Lord. But there's been a lot of chatter of Gavin Newsom, Michelle Obama, Stacey Abrams, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who will be 35 years old, I believe, by the time the 2024 election comes by. And it seems as though Joe Biden, who claimed that he would be a transition president, well, that claim of Biden being a transitory president was basically about as true as inflation being transitory. In other words, full of crap. And speaking of full of crap, it seems as though you Democrats, in the end, are going to be stuck with sleepy, creepy, poopy pants, piss pants Biden, and there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing you possibly could do is try to primary him, and man, that would probably cause more problems if anything. Thanks to Joe, Democrats are in a very, very precarious position, and probably in the weakest place electorally they have been in a very, very long time. Joe Biden inadvertently being one of the greatest things to happen to the Republican Party in the last 2 decades. It might be time to start whipping out this classic, infamous clip from the 2020 election.
Democrats, please don't make me vote for Joe Biden. Please don't make me vote for Joe Biden. Please don't make me vote for Joe Biden. I don't want to vote for Joe Biden.
Because I think a whole lot more people are feeling that exact way. That's what I got for you guys on this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.